we're going to do a little test here to show you how the Rattlegore Undatakah interaction occurs. I'm just going to play the Innkeeper here versus Warrior. So we've got some draw cards here. And I've got the Undatakah Rattlegore, so we're just going to get that as soon as possible to show you that an Undatakah with a Rattlegore deathrattle on it will not summon a Rattlegore, but will instead summon a Undatakah with -1/-1 stats. And I don't have any other deathrattles in here, I don't believe, so I think I've kind of covered it. Just a bunch of draw. Alright, we just need a little bit of luck in the draw. I had Vectus in there just for the heck of it, for some fun. Alright, we got our Town Criers to pull some of the rush. I think I just have Ziliax in there. I just built this really quick, like, just to kind of survive and draw. Really is all I'm aiming for here. Most likely they'll be like my last two cards. That's usually what my luck is like. I do a lot of testing like this, and I use the Warrior just because he armors up and doesn't put out a lot of damage here. So it gives us a chance to survive and play around. I do a lot of deathrattle tests. It's probably my favorite test to do because Spirit Singer allows for a lot of weird loopy things. Alright, there's our Undatakah. Let's see, I don't want to overdraw. There's Rattlegore, perfect. We'll play Rattlegore next. Alright, I should leave him some minions. I can Blade Storm if he's the only one on there. We might even do a Vectus here just to see what other fun we can have. There's our Rattlegore. I'm sure he'll execute that. Or not. Perfect. Alright, let's just hope our Brawl kills our Undatakah here. If not, we'll throw down the Doomsayer. Alright, perfect. Alright, I'm just gonna throw the Doomsayer out so that he can get 2 deathrattles. Alright, there we are with that. Alright, here comes our Undatakah. It is going to add that one and that one. So, my whole testing, where this says resummon this, so what's going to happen, here's my guess before I've actually done it officially. I have done it with 1 deathrattle, so my guess here is this is going to be, he's going to create a 7/4, and then he's going to create another 7/4. So there should be 2 7/4 Undatakahs that come out when this dies. So I will try to get this killed. If I have to brawl or whatever else. Perfect, I can run him into here. So that's my prediction. We're going to get 2 7/4 Undatakahs. It will not summon a Rattlegore. Here we go. There we go. So now you see it. So this minion, when it says resummon this minion, imprinted on an Undatakah, does not mean Rattlegore. The only time this minion ever really means this, or if it says this or this minion, only ever happens with the dormant deathrattles. So the corpse flower and Lucentbark. That's it. Those are the only ones that, upon death, Undatakah will summon. So I'm going to also play just Vectus here, because it's going to have 2 dragons, 2 dragon whelps. And now these are going to summon nothing. These are going to die. So that's my prediction. We'll just go ahead and throw a brawl out there and see what happens. I actually haven't tested this with Vectus yet, with those dragons. But my experience is that will summon... Ooh, check that out. So now we've got something way off here. So this summons... The Vectus summons the Rattlegore, and the Undatakah doesn't. So now we have an even more of an inconsistency. So, like I said, I hadn't tested that Vectus one because that was new. I haven't tested Vectus a whole lot. My original test with Vectus with the Plagued Hatchling is that these will summon a Lucentbark and a Corpse Flower from Rogue. But it shouldn't have summoned this. So that is even more consistency. So I'm going to post that up. So the Undatakah didn't, but yet the Hatchling did. Let's read the... Vectus one more time here. So it says, each gains a death rattle from your minions that died this game. And then this says, gain the death rattle effects of 3 minions that died this game. In my testing, that it's never meant anything different, but apparently that wording of gains a death rattle, to me that's still an inconsistency on how Vectus works for the Plagued Hatchlings and Rattlegore. So if that's the case, if I do a Vectus on another death rattle that says something about resummon this, it doesn't work. So I'll do another test like that, and I'll record that, and we'll find out. So let me go ahead and end this, and I'm going to stop the stream for now, and we'll be back, and I'll record another video to see how that interaction works, because that's kind of interesting. It definitely shouldn't have done that. Alright, now we're going to test, exactly what the Vectus dragon whelps will summon. So, my theory was wrong on it not summoning the Rattlegores.
Embrace the chaos.
So that it shouldn't have, if things were consistent, it shouldn't have summoned the Rattlegore. Even though the Rattlegore says resummon this with -1, -1, and Vectus says each gains a death rattle from your minion. So it gains a death rattle from Rattlegore. So the dragon whelps gained this death rattle, resummoned this with -1, -1, and then resummoned a Rattlegore. So a recurring villain says if this minion has 4 more attack, then resummon it. So this specifically says this minion. So is it referring to recurring villain, or is it referring to the dragon whelps itself? And then the same thing, I put a little weasel tunneler in here. Shuffle this minion in your deck, into your opponent's deck. So this minion, so is that going to shuffle a weasel tunneler, or is it going to shuffle those little dragons? Now, in my experience, the dragon whelps will shuffle their self in, because this minion is referring to themselves. With Rattlegore, it says resummon this with -1, -1. But that's inconsistent with Undatakah, because he is supposed to gain the death rattle effect of Rattlegore, which would say resummon this, meaning the Rattlegore, which is not how I think it should work. I think it should just resummon the Undatakah, which is what it does. But as you can see, there's some inconsistencies. So let's just see what happens. Let's see if the Vectus whelps will trigger this off themselves. And then what I want to do is get a recurring villain. And now the way I get the recurring or the dragon whelps to have +4 attacks, I got 2 abusive sergeants in there, so we can hit both of those, or hit one of the whelps with +4. So we are gonna have to draw Vectus plus the 2 abusive sergeants. And then I don't want any other death rattles to die, so I kind of just kept Undatakah and Rattlegore in here just for the heck of it. We'll test and play around with that as well, with how the Undatakah works with those. Alright, so we got our first recurring villain, so we need this to die. So we'll play that in a little bit. We just now, all we're going to need is our Vectus and 2 abusive sergeants. So we're going to draw as much as possible here. And I'm just not attacking. I don't want to bring him down here. Oh, there's our Rattlegore, of course. Let's draw some cards. I'm just going to kill off as many of my minions here as I can. Alright, there's 1 abusive sergeant. So that'll work for us. Shield block. Alright, there's our other villain. Now, I don't want to play both of them. I want it to hit the Weasel Tunneler and the villain. So we're just gonna wait here for our other sergeant and our other only Vectus. Clear the board here a little bit. Alright, there's our Vectus. Just need our other abusive sergeant. Hopefully, I don't want to put Vectus out and then he kills both of my guys. I want to have at least one of them survive. Oh, you know what? I can 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can actually kill him this way. So here we go. 5, 6, yeah. Alright. So we're going to give this guy... Oh, wait, which one is the deathrattle? I gotta check first. So that's the Weasel Tunneler. Now I noticed that it said copy deathrattle from recurring villain, copy deathrattle from Weasel Tunneler. So this should summon a recurring villain because it copied the deathrattle from the Rattlegore and it summoned a Rattlegore. Will it do that? I don't believe so. And look, that shuffled in. See, it just shuffled that. And then the where'd it go? Oh, it shuffled in a plagued hatchling. So it's not really consistent there. Now I'm gonna play Undatakah here, and it'll copy the recurrent villain, deathrattle, but it will resummon itself. So we have an inconsistency with the way Rattlegore works with Vectus, in my opinion. So let's see what this got. This got Weasel Tunneler and Recurring Villain. So this should just resummon itself because it's got 8. Oh, we should be able to kill it here. Perfect. Alright, so it's just going to resummon itself. It's not going to resummon a Recurring Villain. Yep. But for whatever reason, resummon this means something different than resummon this minion. But Undatakah doesn't get a Rattlegore, so it's consistent on Undatakah with all other minions, but when Rattlegore comes into play, it's not consistent with Vectus, but it's consistent with Undatakah. So there is a little bit of an issue that's going to have to be fixed on Blizzard's end, as far as I can tell. Alright, if you guys have anything else you want me to test, let me know.